Up next, we have a wonderful fashion show of traditional Ukrainian costumes and various religions of Ukraine. But before I have an interesting fact for you about Ukraine.
Did you know that Ukraine possesses 33% of world's rich black earth soil? Also, Ukraine is the #1 exporter of sunflower oil and the #2 exporter of grains globally. Ukraine is truly the breadbasket of Europe.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. If you love culture, and in particular material culture, we have quite the selection of traditional Ukrainian embroidery and full costumes, in fact, for you, beginning with two traditional Ukrainian costumes from the Pokutya region, currently known as the Horodenka County within the province of Ivano-Frankivsk. We should first say that the Ukrainian traditional costume is not a standard outfit. Instead, it is diverse and unique and differs from region to region. On the woman wearing costume version A, we'll call it, is a typical traditional costume from the Horodenka region in Ukraine. And its ensemble entails a traditional homespun linen shirt embroidered with cotton threads, a traditional homespun wool obhortka or skirt, two homespun wool belts, a homespun wool apron, and a sheepskin vest. The style of the apron is also unique, and it is one of the only regions in Ukraine that has a pleated apron. Our next costume is similar as well to costume version A, but is its own unique variation. Please notice the costume's obhortka because it is finely pleated and secured with threads at the waist. This is done to preserve the shape and style of the pleated obhortka on the woman and to provide a comfortable fit. To complete the costumes in the Horodenka region, women used to wear the peremitki, which are about 4 meters long, homespun narrow in width linen head wraps. In later times, closer to World War II, women stopped wearing the peremitki and began to wear handkerchiefs on their heads. And these types of costumes, ladies and gentlemen, are a typical celebration attire that would be worn by women for high church holidays and special family occasions. We now turn your attention to the next costume from the Pavilion region of Ukraine. This shirt is made of homespun linen. It's embroidered with geometric patterns that are reminiscent of this region. The shirt is different from other Ukrainian shirts because it has wide folds around the wrists and unique decorum in the edges of the shirt. The complex of the Ukrainian costume Pavilion consisted of a wide linen or hemp shirt with folds around the neck, linen or cotton dress, and a red or green belt sash. Also, ochipka headpieces were worn with handkerchiefs and peremitki as traditional headpieces. A very special place in the Ukrainian customs are the unique roles of the adornments worn by women. Our next costume is from the Hutsul region. The below-the-knee length shirt is embroidered in nizinka stitch on the sleeves, standing collar, and cuffs. The pattern is multicolored on black design for the sleeves and straight niz. Narrow motifs are found on the neckband and cuffs. The zapaska or skirt is a two-paneled skirt with the front panel shorter, woven in horizontal stripes. It is held by a wide patterned sash. The kepar or vest is made from sheepskin, trimmed in Persian lamb, and ornamented with fine leather applique. A 1.5 meter wide kerchief is ornately tied around the head, and a necklace of Venetian and genuine coral beads complete the ensemble. next costume is from the Bukovina region. This costume of Bukovina consists of a chemise or sorochka, wraparound overskirt or obhortka, also known as a horbotka, opinka, or fota. Also a sash which holds the overskirt in place, and a headdress of some kind. Until the 1950s or so, all chemises were made long, although the bottom portion was made of a coarser weave. The chemise top is embroidered. The techniques used are a mix of cross stitch, outline stitch, flat stitch, chain stitch, hem stitch, seed beads, and even sequins. The overskirt obhortka consists of a rectangular piece of heavy home-woven cloth with stripes at the top, bottom, and both ends, which is wrapped around the overlaps in front. The background color is black, and the woven-in designs are complex and colorful and may include metallic thread. This is usually worn with one or both corners tucked back into the sash. The Policia region is represented by 3 costumes. The cloth of the shirts were of good quality, but were not completely sun-bleached and had a slight gray shading. The decoration Polician shirts were both woven and embroidered. Long ago, the shirt ornamentation on the sleeve in front were often woven rather than embroidered, and the skirt litelnik, or litanik, was a woolen skirt woven in red and multicolored vertical stripes. On another one of our models, we can see a heavier woolen skirt, a burka. The ornamentation includes square, triangles, robus, and rosettes. Similar to the skirt, the apron was made of linen, hemp, or woolen cloth. A white cloth apron had a red woven design. A sash woven from red woolen thread ending in kitetski, or pom-pom. The forest and marshes isolated the population of the Policia region, so they preserved the folk attire in its ancient form, along with all rituals and folk art. Moving on now to the Kharkiv region. This area of Ukraine located in the northeast. Because of constant Tatar attacks, the Kharkiv region was settled late in history. Only with the beginning of the 18th century did refugees from serfdom from the right bank of the eastern Poltava area settle here. Once the Tatars' invasions ceased, cities developed, settled mostly by merchants and craftsmen. Industry began to be concentrated in Kharkiv. The shirt is similar to the ones worn in the Poltava region down to the ankles and wrists, with the white gathered at the wrist sleeves. On this model, we can see a skirt and vest made from material called cherkasin and decorated with velvet and machine embroidery. The vest has a typical style for this region with 3 inverted godets. The apron is made from silk with a jacquard pattern. The skirt is held with a very wide belt. Outerwear was tied with a sash woven with colored stripes. The headpiece is an ochipke covered by a kerchief. And finally, on this group of women, you'll find traditional costumes from the Poltava region of Ukraine. This is perhaps the most identifiable region. The Poltava region, located within the central Podniprovia region of Ukraine, and is the historic source of the Ukrainian language, traditions, literature, culture, song, and music as we know them today. In this very central region of present Ukraine, we find the word Rus, first born in ancient times and given birth to the kingdom we know from history under the name of Kiev in Rus, with the capital of the city of Kiev nicknamed as the mother city of all the cities of the land of Rus. The costumes that we are currently displaying belong to this Poltava province within the central Podniprovia region. The traditional costume of the Poltava Central Podniprovia region is made entirely of homespun materials except for aprons, vest, ochipka headpieces, and handkerchiefs. The materials used for the aprons, vest, ochipka headpieces, and handkerchiefs were based on the social and material status of the family, meaning more precious textiles were used by Cossack noble families with titles. The more common people had access to these types of textiles. However, they were very expensive at the time. The shirts in this region were made either of homespun linen or hemp and had mass variations in design and layout. The shirts in the central Podniprovia region were recognized because of their white-on-white embroidery and cutwork. However, some villages added different colors into the designs, such as blue, yellow, brown, and gray. The Korosetke vests were made by highly skilled tailors with unique designs, such as the tree of life and frog motifs. The adornment of the Korosetke vest with velvet was also underlining the status of the Roman or the clan she belonged to. The traditional woman's costume of the central Podniprovia region impresses and enchants the viewer with its majesty, harmony of silhouette of colors and design, and the union of different tastes. For joining us this afternoon. Hopefully, you'll leave this show with a little knowledge, awe, and amazement.